All Access A3C. Over here on my left is Kevin Nonham and Maurice Garland. We got some crazy guests right now. Combat Jack Show.
What's up?
How you liking Atlanta right now, fam?
I love Atlanta, man. I've always loved Atlanta, man. Welcome to Atlanta, where the players play, right?
One thing that the listeners really don't know about you guys so much is, how did you and Dallas link up?
Twitter. No, it wasn't Twitter.
Pre-Twitter.
All right.
How did that combination?
Actually, you start the story, man.
Okay, it's a great story.
Don't chew your gum on here.
It's a great story.
Stop chewing, man.
Etiquette. Etiquette 101.
So I'm hanging out at a nightclub.
No. You gotta go back.
Okay.
The nightclub joint.
Okay, you get. No, I like the nightclub story.
Let me have the nightclub joint, and you go into.
Listen to this. Listen to this.
These guys.
Come on, man.
It's in the Combat Jack
If
show.
you guys follow the internets, the lord of the internets is Byron Crawford.
Salute, Brian.
Okay.
Okay, that's the lord of the
Y'all
internets.
up on Brian.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely,
yeah.
definitely, yeah.
We used to be co-workers technically at one point.
A double XL?
Yeah.
Yes,
He
indeed.
throw shots at you?
Yes, he did. My first day on the job.
Yes! How do you feel about him?
Man, I threw shots right back at him, so it was mutual, man.
So Byron Crawford is the hub. He's the linchpin, where he let Combat Jack use his site to drop some of his stories, some of his industry tales.
Right.
And I read these and I laughed because I'm like, the stories that Combat Jack was talking about, I remembered some of those events. But I remember being at a party and I remember like the aftermath of that party. And I was like, oh, so that's what happened that night. And he was on the other side of the velvet rope because he was an industry fuck.
Because he was a lawyer. Was
Right.
this when it? Okay.
Did you know I was a lawyer?
Oh yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
it was interesting to find someone who was kind of in the same space I was, or the same place I was. He was in a different space, but same place at the same time.
Okay.
And I was just like, wow, I put a lot of things together. And I said, man, this guy is, this is incredible. He's filling in the blanks in my memory.
So as he's making this connection, I start reading through through Byron Crawford and through SK Narite. I get up on Dallas Penn site, and Dallas is writing stories about our era from the other side. I'm like, oh, so that's what them grind ball motherfuckers was doing on that side. But his stories were so vivid, and they filled in the picture. So like he said, I was on one side, and he's writing on the other side. You know what I mean? So now I can go into the
best part, right? No, the best part. Tell the story about the nightclub.
So one night I'm with my wife, and I'm clean.
Yeah.
Got the jacket. This is 05. 05.
So you had the Steve Harvey suit on.
No. I didn't have the Steve Harvey.
Extra turtleneck, right? Yeah.
Shots.
Extra turtleneck.
Ow.
20-piece button up.
So this is Jay-Z button-up era.
All right.
So I got the button-up. I got the blazer. I got the Yankees
Yeah.
cap. So I'm with my wife, and we go to this event, and it's at this bar in New York where, you gotta go through the general admission to go to the VIP joint. So Dallas has always put his images up on his site. At the time, I was still, kind of incognito as Combat Jack.
Yeah.
So I had the freedom to travel and see cats that I met on the internet, but they didn't know who I was. Okay. I see Dallas in there. I'm like, yo, you're Dallas Penn. He's like, yeah. It's like, I know who you are. So Dallas is like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And then I just go into the velvet area. You know what I'm saying? And every now and then I would come out to the general location. Dallas was smoking a blunt, so his breath was all stinky. I was like,
Yeah.
I know who you are, man. So eventually, before we leave, I'm like, yo, I'm Combat Jack. And he's like, now you can tell the story.
All right, so then boom, he gives me his maps. We're gonna build. We're gonna talk internet shit. So he says that I called him at 3 a.m.
No, you called me at midnight.
Okay.
And I'm like, fuck, I fucked up and gave the wrong dude. Like, I gave a creep.
My number.
But can't you call somebody's cell phone any time of the day? Isn't that why it's a cell phone?
I got kids.
If it was a home phone,
I had a
then
newborn baby girl, man.
it was a cell phone. A cell phone's supposed to be able to call any time.
Ring. It's ringing in my...
You can call people that you already know anytime.
First time he calls me is after midnight.
This is why I don't have a cell phone now. You see?
Still to this day.
Because I don't understand y'all rules in the cell phone world. I don't understand y'all protocols.
As being someone who self-proclaimed the internets, how do you stay on the internet?
With no cell phone.
The good thing is when you are an internets, as all of you gentlemen are internets, you guys are already connected. There are women in the room too, and there are women internets certainly. But in internets, once you're in internets, everyone else is plugged in. Y'all are doing the heavy lifting for me. Y'all are staying informed. Y'all are communicating. Y'all allow me to dip in and dip out on some Black Peter Pan shit.
Black Peter Pan, right?
So I guess what was really instrumental is that at the time when I met Dallas Penn, I had been guesting for Byron Crawford, and then I started writing pieces on Dallas Penn's site because I was still kind of like iffy in terms of whether I should jump into my own site, into my own presence. So Dallas gave me some leeway, but this is when still I was still anonymous, and I was able to fire shots without being accountable.
Right.
You know, so Dallas Penn was like the next level in terms of me making a decision as to becoming fully committed on this internet space.
Now, I have a question. You know, at what point did you get comfortable with losing, I guess, your anonymous identity? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us up here, I don't know if I can speak for everybody. We didn't come in here as, MCs, DJs, trying to be in front of people. We all came in from behind the scenes, but now people run up on your street. I know exactly who you are. I follow you on Tumblr, Instagram, and Facebook. I know where you was born. I know when you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you deal with that now, man?
I guess the straw that broke the camel's back was when I launched my site. I still had this level of comfort in my anonymity, and then I wrote the Damon Dash story. I wrote my Damon Dash story, and that kind of went viral. And then cats that weren't necessarily plugged into the blogosphere started reading it. It was like, Reggie Osei, I know, and and when I wrote that piece, and we had gone away on vacation, and when I came back, I saw over 100 comments. I was like, fuck, I fucked up. Like I kind of, I exposed myself. But in that exposure, it made me feel comfortable because there was really no blowback, and cats really were giving me props for what I was doing. And that's when I just started feeling comfortable accepting this new role and coming out, taking the mask off, shout out to Ghostface and letting the world know who I was.
Was there ever a time where you preferred not to be known? Because I can say this, there have been months when the hustle was not that good to me. And I might be at the bank.
Hustle is good to you now?
The hustle is good to me now.
Hustle ain't good to us yet, man.
Oh, no.
It ain't good to us yet. Don't let it fool you.
We
started from the bottom and we still here.
What I'm getting at is, have there ever been times where it's like, I remember one time I went to the bank making a measly deposit, and some girl was the teller, and she was like, "You Maurice Garland." I'm like, damn, I really don't need you to know who the fuck I am right now.
What was the deposit?
Man, that shit was like $50.
That's not a bad deposit. That's not a bad deposit.
That's good. All right, cool.
I mean, I go to that bank sometimes and I fleece that account. I'm like, 536. We're gonna withdraw 525.
Nah, it's interesting. A couple of months ago, I was, I'm taking care of some things with my mortgage, and this is very private.
Yeah.
So I'm in the office taking care of, real private financial documents with my mortgage, and this dude is like, "I like that Dame interview," and I'm like,
yeah.
I mean, that comes with the territory.
It does.
That comes with the territory.
I really want to talk a little bit about Premium Pete. How did he get in this picture?
Dallas bought him. Dallas's fault.
All right, my story with Premium Pete is we met many years ago when he was still in retail. Okay. And he ran a sneaker spot in Lower Manhattan, popular spot called Premium Laces. And I mean, that's when he was known as Premium Pete. That's where I got the nickname from. And I would just go and hang out there in the store, and all kinds of people would come to the store. I remember Jay Elect came to the store. You could tell the story of all the people that would come to that spot.
I mean, it was a multicultural, multi-different type of spot. I mean, we had Michael Douglas come through. Jay Elect came in slippers, But I mean, I met Dallas many years ago, and we hit off right away. I mean, there's a passion in hip hop, whether it stands from sneakers to music to food to whatever it is. There's all different ways that people come together that. But I mean, me and Dallas hit it off, and we've been friends for years. I mean, he brought me on the show just to talk about a site that I had launched, and I ain't never left.
So from my end, when Dallas brought Pee-wee and Pete to the show, I was like, okay.
How did you feel about that?
Well, I was like, okay, you know, I was real comfortable with cats hanging around.
Okay.
When we were recording out of PNC, shout out to PNC Radio.
Right.
So Pete was just hanging around and just being really helpful, and I never really envisioned him being part of the show. And every now and then, you know, he would say things and it was cool, but I noticed it was a period where he just started getting extra thirst on the mic. You know, and I was like, it's all right, you know, whatever. Until our infamous Touré episode. Yeah. We had Touré on the show, and I had really studied a lot of Touré's work. And, you know, Touré, I think, is a great writer. He might be the one of the most polarizing cats.
Oh, White Touré.
White Touré.
Okay, here we go.
No shots, Touré. That's his name. So, you know, in the middle of the interview, Pete, who I still in my head didn't view as a regular cast member, is jumping.
And you guys were already a year in.
We were a year in.
Yeah.
And he's jumping in, and I'm looking at him like, yo, this is not your lane, son. But he came out so hard that, you know, if you never listened to the Touré episode, I definitely urge that you listen to that. So then Pete created this image of himself being racist Pete. Right. This racist dude who's still down with the team. And over that, you know, from that period on, we kind of went through this thing where it's like, where does Pete fit? You know, do I still feel comfortable with Pete? We kind of had this growing pain situation where, you know, we were at conflict. Yeah. And sometimes it would bleed out in public. But I'm a real funny dude. Like, if I don't fuck with you, I really don't fuck with you. And Pete is one of those guys where I was like, do I fuck with Pete? Do I not fuck with Pete? And the most amazing thing happened over the past year. It's like, yo, Pete is so ride or die with the team.
Right, yeah.
And I've never been in a situation where I was feeling one way about somebody, and it's like, yo, this is it.
Yeah, definitely. Pete brings a dynamic, different perspective.
I love you, Pete.
You know, yeah, his perspective on things. Right. His perspective on things is, how should I put it? It's quite unique. Yeah, very unique. You know.
How so?
In the sense that it's a
He
little
speaks
bit
before he
rugged.
thinks?
Well, yeah, it's
I just want to.
it's kind of street a little bit in a sense.
For some reason, I feel like you don't. If you call me an asshole right now, I'm good with it. You know what I mean? So no, I'm good with it. So what I'm saying is. No, but like right now, I feel like he's getting to such.
I wasn't gonna call you asshole. No, it wasn't that. No.
Call him an asshole and see what happens.
It's a little bit
Let me tell
rough. You know what I'm saying?
Pete is the most street person.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
On this team.
Yeah.
All right. I've done crazy things.
He's the shooter.
He's definitely the shooter.
Okay.
He's definitely the shooter.
He's the Tupac of the team.
He's definitely the shooter. And the great thing about Pete is that you might catch a little piece of that bullet too, a little fragment too. All right, but he is definitely the shooter. He is definitely that shooter.
Now, when you're getting guests on the show, like how do you what is the decision making behind that? Because there's been times when I've seen two random guests on there at the same time. Is it a thing where it's like somebody's walking down the street?
Like which random guest?
You had Pastor Troy on there one time. That was the last person that I expected to see on the Combat Jack show. You know what I'm saying? We have the same barber. And so when I saw Pastor Troy, I'm like, oh damn, man, I just seen the dude yesterday. What are you doing on there?
That was some random shit.
Yeah, all right.
It's interesting. Like when we started the show, it wasn't based on guests. It was just based on me and Dallas waxing about whatever came in our consciousness. And then once we started getting guests and once we started getting a higher level of guests, it was like we kind of became dependent on guests. And it was kind of like a drug. You know, we get Big Boy, we want a bigger name. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We get Damon Dash, we want a bigger name. And at a certain point, we had to reflect and say, well, is this an interview show that's dependent on the guests, or is it still dependent on our camaraderie, our relationship, the unique perspectives that we bring to the table? The situation with Pastor Troy was one of those weeks where we had no guests, and somebody was like, do you want to interview Pastor Troy? And it was like, sure, bring him on. Yeah. So it was random, but I still like that unpredictability factor where the show is us. And every now and then we'll get an A-list, but I don't ever want to depend on the numbers. I mean, it's a weird situation where the internet is really based on how many hits you're getting. And now that we've hit a certain level, we have that pressure. But I don't want to be locked into that pressure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be locked into numbers and names because that's not what the Combat Jack show is.
Exactly. I wanted to know, man, have there ever been times where you have interviewed guests that you've had on the show and you walked away kind of impressed by them, or you was just like, you know what, I was thinking a certain way about this cat, but he's actually cool as hell, man?
90% of the time. 99% of the time.
Wow, okay.
99% of the time.
I would say everyone except for, in my mind, a handful of people. I feel like when we finished up with French, it wasn't for the complex vehicle. I don't feel like I liked French more, but what I felt about French was that he was young, and he's getting money, but he's still being developed in the industry, and I think he's gonna have to go through some things for him to mature and kind of and realize a better place for himself in the industry. And I like Wale. I thought Wale kind of brushed us off a little bit towards the end.
I think everybody has the same Wale experience in that regard. I think everybody has the same experience.
Wale is like a cat. A cat can only fuck with you for about an hour. Even if you're petting that cat. At some point, the cat is just like, you know what, I have no fucking time for you. And then it walks away. Okay. And you were like, why? Cat, I was nice to you. I fed you. I petted you. I was, I gave you love. And yeah. Cat doesn't care. Cat just walks the fuck away.
Yeah, I just I want you guys to talk a little bit about the 2 Chainz interview you guys did last night. If you can summarize that, let us know the high ends and the low points of that interview and how that went.
It's still a new terrain interviewing cats live. So, I still don't know how well that interview
in front of a live audience.
In front of a live audience. So I still don't know how that interview resonated. I got to look at it and I got to listen to it. But what I feel comfortable is, and I don't know what it is, but I think, because I've seen 2 Chainz interview where he's not that forthcoming or where he's not that giving. And I thought he was very honest. I think he gave us a perspective of his life that the general public doesn't know. And for some reason, I would say 99% of the people that come on our show, they trust us to talk about things that they don't get on.
RA in the building?
RA, what's up? RA is a former client of mine that once paid me by having somebody strip in my office.
Right. Another deal that Combat Jack fucked up.
Wow.
I didn't fuck up RA's deal. RA never paid me, but that's all right.
I didn't pay him because he fucked up Jazzo's deal.
Yeah, he didn't pay me because of somebody else's deal. But going back to the question, man, I thought that there was a level of intimacy in the 2 Chainz interview that you won't get anywhere else.
Okay.
I can't wait for people to hear. And if someone's videotaped the 2 Chainz interview, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
2 Chainz. I've come around to 2 Chainz recently anyway, like a lot of people, and just to get his perspective on his work, and not only that, but kind of coming out of this city. This is an interesting place, Atlanta, where the majority of people here in this city aren't from here. They didn't grow up here. They didn't experience this city before the Olympics.
1996.
Right. They don't, So 2 Chainz is somebody who goes back to the Trigger Man, to DJ Jimmy, to Club Nicky's, who he told me, Club Nicky, he said, fool, Club Nicky's been closed a long time. I forgot to ask him, Black Ice, I forgot to ask him about Al Capone's. But
them Al Capones.
Yeah. but 2 Chainz comes from Atlanta from forever. So it's just to get that insight and that perspective, and for him to be home, it was kind of a homecoming. I enjoyed the time. I think he's dope. He's definitely dope.
Shout out to 2 Chainz. He's the consummate professional, because I actually hosted his stage last night, and the sound was so janky, bruh. Like, everybody was sounding like Charlie Brown by the end of the night, man. You know what I'm saying? But he still came out there and rocked a whole set. He was actually rapping on 2 mics at one point, just entertaining the crowd, man. So shout out to him, man.
Shout out to 2 Chainz, man.
Right. So, yeah, we're going to have to wrap this up. But definitely, brothers, y'all, appreciate you guys coming through.
Thank you.
Shouts to A King for making it happen. And y'all definitely see you guys all the night at the Bun B.
Yes.
I was there last night at 2 Chainz. That's how me and A King linked up.
What'd you think of the interview, man?
Different, like he's really open. The thing about the sharks, him making 2 pools, freshwater and saltwater. That was interesting. Let's see if he ever has that in his life. But it's crazy. Yeah.
Yo, let's get Dallas Penn a phone, please. One of y'all out there, please.
Start a fundraiser.
Please. Let's get a.
Maybe that's what that PayPal account should be for then. Remember that PayPal account you had?
The Prolly account.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
Get me a phone.
You could still put money into that Prolly account. Internets.
Let's get him a Kickstarter campaign started.
It's at DallasPenn.com.
campaign.
Okay. DallasPenn.com. But tonight, get ready for Combat.
Okay,
The Combat
okay.
Jack Show.
Yeah.
At the Sound Stage, Space 2. In what little 4 Points? 4th Ward? Something crazy. Club Nicky's.
Old Fourth Ward.
Old 4th Ward.
Old
Old 4th
Fourth
Ward.
Ward.
Later, and afterwards, Club Nicky's.
You going back to 1993 on that one.
Bun B, Don Cannon, A King.
We got gunplay. Is gunplay confirmed? Bang, bang, bang. Yo, thanks a lot, gentlemen. Ahí sí, sakbase.
Thank you. Thanks again. DP.
Pleasure. Thanks for the love, for real, man. Like, you guys give us a lot of love, man.
Oh, look at this, bringing people together. So this is all, you know what I'm saying?